Our daughter has a pretty bubbly type personality when she's around her friends.
She's got the biggest heart out of anybody I know.
She's very smart, very funny. She was active in diving.
And was great. It was so much fun watching her progress.
And nerve-wracking watching her.
Yeah. I don't think any families will leave it to Beaver family anymore, but we are a normal family. When we moved to the area that we are in suburbia, you don't think that this can happen so close to home in an environment that you handpicked to live in.
Things like this don't happen to families like us.
Our daughter's the type of person who wants to
Trust.
She wants to trust everybody. And so she will put her trust into the wrong people immediately, many times.
She got
mixed up in the wrong crowd.
That's the best way to describe it. Drug use ensued. We ultimately gave her an ultimatum. It was the hardest decision we've ever made. Was either you need treatment or you need to leave. And initially she said she'll go to treatment after spending one night in a shelter, and which is ultimately where she met the people.
But within one night, these individuals had her pegged, became her friends. They were in contact with her through social media and whatever else.
It's how they got her. We went and picked her up the next day. She enrolled into treatment. Lasted 2 weeks.
Even when she was home for that 2-week period, they were still grooming her online on social media and telling her,
just come stay with us, it's fine, you can stay in our hotel.
Get away from your mom and dad and their rules. And
yeah, that was the big one.
Your parents are jerks, they expect you to be home. Come with us and you'll have freedom.
It was about 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. We're getting ready for bed and out the door she went, and that's when it all began. I had like an app on her phone where I could see her location. The first 2 days we had her pinpointed to a hotel in the Twin Cities area, not terribly far from home. And it was 2 days later, I saw her location changed to another hotel in the Twin Cities. We made sure to maintain contact with her. And I just said, where are you? And she was honest with me and said the names and who she was with. And she does have to take certain medications. So she was coming home every few days.
So we were able to see in a very short period of time
a decline.
Her demeanor changed completely.
She was wearing clothes we hadn't seen. A day came, she had bruising on her neck. I tried to keep her around a little bit longer. And right before she left, I could physically see it was actual hand marks around her neck. And I looked at my husband and I said, something is so wrong.
We had tried to keep our daughter in the house that day. She wouldn't maintain eye contact. She was staring at the floor the whole time.
And she also said they mistreat me.
She just kept saying it doesn't matter. Before going out the door, she just stood at the door for a minute. And we had asked her, are you in trouble? Is everything okay? And she just said, nobody should live this way. We had told her, you don't have to go. If you're dealing with something right now that we can help with, stay. So, there's still rules here. And she just put her head down and went out to the vehicle that she got a ride in and took off. It was a few days after that she had called, and I had flat out asked her that night. I said, my gut is telling me something, and I'm just going to flat out ask you. I said, have you had to prostitute yourself? And she paused for a minute and just said, yes. And my heart sunk immediately, because you have all this intuition in the world that, it's bad, and your mind goes to the worst place.
And it was the worst scenario.
There were certain applications that they downloaded onto her phone.
And she didn't have the password.
So that is how they advertised, so these Johns could come to the hotel. They would utilize a maintenance worker at the hotel who would let them into different rooms. So they would keep her constantly on the move just within that same hotel.
She was threatened numerous times. There were weapons. She had seen them. They kept her drugged, essentially.
She has explained to us that they threatened to kill my family, to kill my dad, to kill my brother.
We instructed her to call the police department. The person who specifically trafficked her had left for a short period of time. And that's when she took the opportunity to call 911.
When the officer arrived, that officer still had her around the area where these people were.
Questioned her in front of some of them.
Accused her of just wanting to get a ride to a friend's house.
And lying.
She called me when she was with the officer.
We're explaining on the phone that she's not lying. She's not making this up. The mom in me just was like, okay, I'm going to find a way for you to report it and let your story be told. And that's when I got a hold of the BC. I got a number to the BCA. And they believed her, they listened to her. They cared.
Since this, number one, her level of trust in people has diminished completely.
Her appearance has changed completely. She takes no pride in her appearance. She's very depressed.
She carries a weapon with her wherever she goes now for self-defense, and I can't blame her.
It's like it's taken the life out of her, that drive.
The reason that we want to hide our identities isn't so much that we don't want our neighborhood and our neighbors to know, because we do.
That's not the case, yeah.
We have these individuals that harmed our daughter who have literally driven by our house on numerous occasions where we saw them. It's not like the old movies that you'd see where there was a pimp on the corner.
Kids these age, social media is like their world. That's how they stay connected, and they have friends from all over the world that they don't actually know. And that's how they suckered her right in.
It's amazing how quickly it happened.
Yeah.
How quickly they went from finding this vulnerable individual to grooming them to actually getting them to do the act. It was like the blink of an eye.
It was very short, 2.5 weeks.
I don't want to scare any young kid by any means, but they've got to be cognizant of the individuals they hang out with. They've got to be on the lookout, keep your guard up. If you've got individuals that are trying to just even give you alcohol, give you drugs, give you a lot of attention, be careful.
Or if you notice differences in your friends, like with your friends appearance declining, or, you know, and know that they're starting to hang out with people that they normally didn't before, you know, speak up, say something to your parents, say something to your friend, you know.
Talk to the school resource officer, talk to the faculty. You can't look at yourself and say that these things don't happen to families in suburbia. They don't happen to families whose parents participate in the PTA and are involved in school sports and everything else. Know that they can. Absolutely know that they can, you know?
It's everywhere. It's small town, it's in the suburbs, it's everywhere.
What you've just seen is one Minnesota family's experience with human trafficking. Unfortunately, there are many stories like this happening with families all across Minnesota. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and our partner agencies are working to eliminate this terrible crime, but we need your help. If you or someone you know is in immediate danger of being trafficked, call 911. To report a suspected trafficking situation, call or email the BCA at 877-996-6222 or bca.tips@state.mn.us. If you are being trafficked, the National Human Trafficking Hotline provides a map-based list of resources closest to you. It is never okay to buy another person for sex. We all must work together to bring an end to sex trafficking in Minnesota.